What's up, everybody? This is John Odermatt, the host of Felony Friday, and before we get rolling into today's show, I want to take a quick moment to talk about coffee. That's right, coffee. The Lions of Liberty, we have partnered up with Anarcho Coffee, and we are selling our very own coffee. It's called the Morning Roar. It is a medium dark roast that has cupping notes of lemon lime, caramel, black pepper, and brown sugar. It is delicious. You can pick up some of this coffee by going to lionsofliberty.com/coffee. We have a way there on your first purchase. You can get 10% off, but if you join the Pride for $10 and up, you can actually get more than that. You can get 15% off every single order. Buy some coffee, support the Lions of Liberty, support another great libertarian company as well. Everybody wins. lionsofliberty.com/coffee.
Welcome to Felony Friday, a presentation of the Lions of Liberty podcast. Here is your host, John Odermatt.
Felons, friends, and freedom lovers, welcome back to another edition of Felony Friday, a weekly show right here on the Lions of Liberty podcast. Of course, Felony Friday, the only show where each and every single week we're talking about the criminal justice system. We're shining a light on this broken system, the broken injustice system. Felony Friday is one of three shows that we have here on the Lions of Liberty podcast. Of course, our longest running program, flagship program, every Monday right here on Lions of Liberty, hosted by Mark Claire, where Mark interviews leaders in the libertarian movement. Every Wednesday, we got Electric Liberty Land. It is an hilarious show, It is a hilarious show hosted by Brian McWilliams. It's your weekly shot of culture, comedy, and insanity. Just kidding, liberty. But Brian is mostly insane in a good way. But Brian on his show will relate mainstream topics, what's going on culturally in this nation, to the ideas of liberty, doing a fantastic job with that show. You get all three of these shows delivered to your podcast feed, delivered to your little eardrums, just by subscribing wherever you listen to podcasts. And make sure if you do listen on one of the major podcast catchers, drop us a 5-star rating and give us a review. Please do this, especially if you listen on Apple Podcasts. There is no excuse if you haven't done it. Do it right now. Pull your car over to the side of the road, scroll to the bottom of your Apple Podcast feed, hit 5 stars, and write something awesome about us. If it's funny, even better. And for bonus points, after you do that, come to the Lions of Liberty Forum on Facebook. To find it, if you're not in it, go to Facebook, type Lions of Liberty Forum in the search bar, find us, click join, answer the question, get in, and then tell us about the awesome review that you wrote, and we will love you. I would say forever, but not forever. We'll love you forever if you then go ahead and join the Lions of Liberty Pride. You can join the Lions of Liberty Pride for as little as $2 a month by going to patreon.com/Lions of Liberty. And at $2 a month, that's the base. That's the lowest amount you can get in. You get in our Facebook group. Up from there, and in the Facebook group, you're going to get access to our live streams. We live stream our debates, which we have 2 coming up next week, which will be, Tuesday and Wednesday, I think the Democratic debates are. So those will be live streamed. The reaction shows will be live streamed in our Facebook group. So just for $2 a month, you shoot $2 into the Patreon machine, and you get in to our live stream. In our Facebook group, you can hear those debates. But if you want to hear the rest of our bonus content, which is awesome, and I highly recommend you do, then you're going to need to join for at least $5 a month. And up from there, you get free crap and all kinds of good stuff. So check it out. Patreon.com/Lions of Liberty. This is episode 186 of Felony Friday. So check out the show notes page at lionsofliberty.com/FF186. Let's get rolling into today's show. I'm just going to do the most informal start of the show ever.
You're the best.
All right, so here we are on Felony Friday with 2 of my good friends, Raylene Lightheart from Blast Off with Johnny Rocket and Raylene Lightheart. Is that in the title? Is your name in the title? It should be.
You know, it's not, but he really threw me a bone on the Facebook page. So I say, thank you, Johnny. I love you.
Johnny, you got to put Raylene more front and center. Come on. You got to put her out there.
It's his show.
And of course, we have Jay Caetano from Anarcho Inc, the Anarcho Inc podcast, and also Anarcho Coffee and Anarcho. What else do you have? You have like 10 things.
No, not 10. It's you're home for buds, brews, beans, and Bitcoin, right? So
there you go.
Yeah,
I love a good slogan.
Not from a dirty warehouse.
Yeah. So Anarcho Inc, anarchocbd.com, Anarcho Coffee, and of course, lionsofliberty.com/coffee.
There you go.
Shout out.
Yeah, the man behind the Morning Roar. This is, I was on Jay's podcast a few months ago.
Wow. Yeah, a few months ago already, yeah.
And we hatched the plan for the Morning Roar. And
we did.
Then Raylene and Johnny swooped in and came up with, what's your coffee brand? I forget.
Brew.
Blast Off Brew.
Blast Off Brew, anarchoccoffee.com/blastoff.
Yeah, we'll do a. Did we do a poll on which one was like better? I can't remember.
I tried to. I think I did like a like if you like Morning Roar and Heart if you like Blast Off, and I don't remember looking back on it. Maybe we should do a poll.
I hate that I can't vote on the poll. I haven't had all the coffees. I need to. I'm an asshole. Okay, another thing on my list. Just a sec.
Well, Raylene and also all the listeners out there, you can start off by going to lionsofliberty.com/coffee and picking up the Morning Roar. And then I'll plug on the show notes page where you can get the Blast Off Brew as well.
Yep.
As well as the rest of the thousands of links we're going to have today. You definitely want to check out the show notes page at lionsofliberty.com/FF186. And we were just talking during the pre-show chat about liberty, entrepreneurship, and we were starting down the road talking about agorism. I was like, wait, hold on a second. Let's actually talk about this on the show. So let me kick this off with a question, because there's a little bit of a debate. I didn't even know it was a debate. I thought people looked at it the same way, but do you consider like having your own garden at home and growing your own vegetables a form of agorism, or does it have to be something that is outlawed by the state? What's your opinion on that?
Agorism is black and gray markets. So I would say that anything that you're doing to sustain yourself that's outside of outside of the law on any level doesn't mean it has to be illegal. It just means that you're doing your own thing. I think it would count. I wouldn't say it's specifically agorist. I don't know, what about you?
Yeah, I would say to answer your question specifically, I would say having a garden is definitely somewhat agorist, because in some areas, depending on where you live, you can't have a garden, or you're not allowed to have a garden in your front yard. Mm-hmm. So, it's somewhat agorist. Now, I think what would make it more agorist is if you were to sell the fruits of your labor with Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency, or barter, right? Mm-hmm. Or trade what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Or
growing marijuana in with your garden.
Yeah. I always think of agorism as a way of suffocating the state, right? That's what I try to think. How can you suffocate the state with the market? And growing
and that's why I would think the garden, even though it's so minor, but you're not going to the grocery store and paying those taxes on those vegetables, or it's a little mild suffocation, not
mild suffocation. Crazy, yeah. Where exactly. Yeah. You're not, and maybe you're not like funding like big corporations either, who like a Purdue or something like that. And,
eating their chemicals or
that too. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, what you grow, you are what you eat. I mean, we are always at the mercy of corporate interests. And I'm not anti-corporation, but I am anti-cronyism and choice and things like that. So I think that people don't take their diet seriously enough. We're so far removed from taking care of ourselves that we don't even know what we're ingesting anymore. And our bodies were meant to be self-sustaining. And there's a reason why everybody's sick. So go back to what it should be. And free markets are important, and growing your own foods is badass.
I don't know if you guys watched the first Democratic debate, or I guess it was actually the second one, the part 2 of the first one. And people made fun of Marianne Williamson. I think that's her name. But she did say something to that effect. So they're all going back and forth talking about how they're going to have their different socialized health care. And I think might have been the first thing she said on the night was like, wait a minute, let's talk about why is everybody sick? I mean, why are we giving ourselves chemicals?
Yeah.
And everyone was like, what are you talking about? Why would we talk about that?
Well, they were making fun of her so much, and the memes were awesome. I was into it. Mm-hmm. But I agree with that. And I'm very against the incestuous relationship between pharmaceutical companies and obviously Monsanto. I mean, a lot of libertarians and anarchists are going to totally disagree with me. I just don't like that they can buy and lobby government, and that they can use the patent office to put farms out of business. If nature naturally carries their bullshit seeds into somebody else's farm, they can shut them down. That's completely wrong.
I agree.
So just a quick kind of Google search, I guess. Agorism was first published in the New Libertarian Manifesto. And it is one built around the word agora, which is the Greek for marketplace. So kind of interesting. Okay. The goal of agorism is the agora, the society of an open marketplace, is near to untainted by theft, assault, and fraud as can be humanly attained, is close to a free society as achieved. Sounds
Let's
nice.
talk dark web. What do you guys think about the dark web? I mean, legality aside, let's just say.
Well, according to John McAfee, every email that anyone's ever sent is floating around on the dark web.
Probably.
I don't know if that's true or not, but.
So.
Probably.
All right. I guess as resident expert web developer.
Wait, but before we go any farther, we'll come back to dark web. What's everybody drinking? Jay, start with Jay.
Newcastle Brown Ale.
Nice.
I love Newcastle.
Yeah. Old school.
I'm a pleb, and I like regular old good old beer, and I'm drinking Fat Tire for another good old beer.
Excellent. Yeah. Got a little bit of Jim Beam here. Actually, I wasn't planning on drinking this week because next week I'll be on vacation and I'll be drinking every day. But
ooh, that sounds good.
You gotta for libertarians and libertarians drinking liquor, you gotta take one for the team.
Yeah. Who came up with the libertarians drinking?
That was me actually, and I had just watched Comedians in Cars. Comedians in Cars getting coffee.
It's getting coffee.
Drink coffee.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute, we can use this.
So I've been on Libertarians Drinking in Living Rooms once, and I think it was in the beginning with Johnny, right?
Well, you were on well, I guess, I don't know if the Thanksgiving episode is officially an LALDL or not, but.
Yeah. And then Johnny's like, you have to drink. And I'm like, but I don't drink because I smoke herb now. I don't drink usually. Yeah. And but this summer I've been drinking beer. So I was like, oh, yeah. Okay, I'll drink beer. No problem. Are you ever going to have a show where people are just getting lit? And
that might be more in Mark Claire's department. I don't know. That'd be up to him. But that's been floated around. I don't know.
Yeah.
See.
Well, I don't know how old you guys are. But I'm like, my 30s, I'm done drinking. It doesn't make me feel good. So I started using it as medicine. And now I'm like, okay, now I get why all those old stoners are stoners. I get it now. I'm like, I'm so relaxed. Everything's so cool. Like,
Yeah, I am, since I still work in corporate America, I am restricted from the devil's lettuce. But
Yep.
CBD, zero THC. Get that body high without the.
Well, it's funny, and I have tried CBD, but they do say that it can show up on a drug test. I don't know.
Depends.
It depends on the drug test done. CBD alone, without any percentage of THC, is not as good.
Because it doesn't have, what's the effect? The synergistic, whatever they call it.
Whole plant is
entourage. The entourage effect.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Right. But CBD is still super helpful for people. And I know so many kids that are using it now, children that are having so many behavioral issues in school. I mean, the kind that the parents are constantly getting letters and phone calls home. I know parents who put their kids on plain 100% CBD and they're getting phone calls home from total attitude changes, completely different children. It is amazing stuff. I mean, if I would not have been a libertarian before, I would have never had the balls to even try cannabis. I mean, I'm so glad that I broke myself free of that prison, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. Yeah, same. Raylene, for me, it was the just anxiety with everyday work and shit like that. And my wife was like, you should try CBD. And I was like, I was a total,
Square.
Yeah. Never thought about, And then I tried it. I was like, this is awesome. And I can't go a day like without it. And people,
I just would choose not to.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So is it the same for you guys where, I mean, I've only taken it twice and it's like immediately upon I use the oil put under my tongue.
Right.
It's like instantaneous. You just feel like just mildly just chilled out. Is that?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah. It is incredible.
Yeah. And there's even vape juices now if you're into the vaping thing, or what I like to call the douche flute,
Is it better than a skin flute? Because
I've not heard that before.
No, whatever. If you vape, that's cool.
Smoke what you want.
Smoke whatever you want,
Yeah. Just know that Jay is going to be judging you the whole time.
No. I vaped before.
No, yeah.
I've also smoked the douche flute.
Yeah. That's what I started with. Soccer Mom Special, guys.
Right.
Yeah. I actually started making my own butter and using it for like topically and stuff. And I made suppositories for cramps and things. And I was making them for my friends and helping them on their periods. I'm not kidding. And it was helping so many women in my life with PCOS and extreme cramps and using it inside their bodies. It would loosen all the muscles up and help with all the cramping. And so that's, you guys, it's legal in Washington. Okay. That's where I live. I have a hoodie on because I know everybody in this little tiny town I live in. And I don't want anyone to judge me, and I'm like hiding, I'm going in there and I get the stuff and it took me 2 years of the balls to do it. I come home, I get a magic butter machine. I put it all in there. I make the stuff and this stuff is amazing. And then once I realized how well it worked just on any skin conditions, on anything, I was just using the butter only. And then I finally had the balls to use it for myself. And, I get why people are scared of it because if you use too much when you're not used to it, it will make you super high. So, take it slow. People need to be better ambassadors for this medicine and how to use it. It's beautiful stuff. But.
Well, I think that's part of, because it was illegal. It was people were using it incorrectly.
Right.
It's sort of the thing, because it's illegal, we're going to abuse it. It's like why everyone who's not everyone, but a lot of people under 21, when you're 18, 19, 20, you go out, you just get blacked out drunk because we're rebelling.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but it's going to be so interesting to watch this next generation grow up.
Yeah.
Where, it's not frowned upon and it's looked on as medicine, and really just see how that evolves in culture.
Yeah.
My daughter just turned 21. I had her as a teenager, and she is amazing. And she's very cool. She comes over and hangs out with me all the time. And all of her friends that I'm like, know which ones use weed here and there. And I mean, we have a really cool, cause she's an adult now. And none of these kids are abusing it. They just aren't. They partake here and there. They're not getting high and scary driving. I mean, it's not. They're being really responsible with it, and I think it's because the culture's changing. It's pretty beautiful.
Yeah. You don't have that reefer madness anymore. Like these.
Was that ever a thing? Because The Emperor Wears No Clothes. Have you guys heard of that book?
Great fucking book.
I have a copy. It is amazing. I recommend it to everyone. When you realize the massively racist roots of the drug war.
Oh yeah.
That's a great book. I think there's a documentary on Amazon Prime or Netflix about the author from that book too. I forget the name of it, but that's another great.
Hold on, I'm going to write that down.
Yeah,
another great book. If you heard of Johann Hari, wrote a book called Chasing the Scream.
Yeah.
Which Reading the book's great, but the audio book is maybe even better.
Yeah.
Just with the different voices and everything. But at the beginning of it, he goes through the origin of the drug war with Harry Anslinger, who was, I forget what his government position was, but he was basically the architect behind the modern war on drugs. And he had a past where he saw, I think, his mother OD. She was, very, very addicted to painkillers, and he just took that forward and took that out on the entire country.
Yeah.
The opioid epidemic is disgusting.
We're gonna be talking about that tonight, right?
Are we? Yeah, I think that was one of your articles, right?
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about that first.
Yeah.
It's really bad in Manchester, New Hampshire. I don't think there's not a day that goes by I don't hear the sirens going for somebody that has passed out in the middle of the streets or whatever. I see it every day in Manchester.
Directly responsible for how high the heroin use is right now, because when the prescriptions run out, because now they're treating everyone like drug seekers at the hospitals, they can't afford it. You can't afford $10 to $15 a pill. Then they are switching to heroin, which is super cheap. Yeah. And it's unbelievable what that's doing.
There was literally a shootout this year at a local hotel in Manchester. We're actually not far from where I work, and over like some drug dealers, and I think ATF was there and local SWAT, and it's just a mess. It really is. And to me, what blows me away is, speaking of documentaries and great things to read, is A Leaf of Faith on Netflix with I think you pronounce it Kratom. I've heard it pronounced
Kratom.
Yeah.
Kratom.
It's Kratom. Yeah. And
Kratom. It's like
Kratom.
GIF or GIF. Nobody knows.
It's
whatever.
GIF.
So I think that's an amazing drug, and it's quite amazing how people who are addicted to opiates use this natural leaf that's been used for thousands of years by like the Chinese and Indians, and then right away it gets banned by local and federal government. And although now it seems to be, at least at the local vape shops, I've seen Kratom for sale, and so
they are trying to take it off the market.
They are. And so it's just like it's, and I know people who are involved with trying to get people. I mean, it's almost like everybody you talk to has a story about somebody who's addicted to opioids, or it's like 1 degree of separation almost now. And
it's teachers and moms and grandmas. Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's just like, we've got Kratom, which could help, and nobody's talking about it. So that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, okay. Kratom is addictive.
It is. Oh, I didn't know that.
So mildly addictive compared to opioids. It's much better. It's natural, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can be addictive.
Okay.
You don't want to use it all the time if you don't need it.
Right.
Well,
but
I mean, I don't know if I like people saying that opioids trigger certain chemicals in your brain. Yes, that's true, chemical receptors. But the book I was talking about before, Chasing the Scream with Johan Hari, he talks about experiments that have been done in science where they've taken mice and split them up into 2 groups, and they'll put one set of mice in containment, and they'll give them a bottle of water with a little bit of heroin in it, and they'll make it just a terrible environment. They won't be able to have sex. They won't be able to. There's no wheels to run around on in there. There's nothing fun to do, and every single one of those mice, or I should say, sorry, the cage has 2 waters in it, one with water and one with water with heroin. In that instant, all of the mice are going for the water with the heroin in it. In another instance, if you put the mice in the same situation with the 2 choices for water, but you give them like a mouse paradise where there's wheels and they can have sex with other mice and they can have fun. They'll try the water with the heroin, but they'll end up just going back to the regular water. So, and this has been done with humans too. I mean, we've seen this in society with the Vietnam War. A lot of our military went over there and it was a terrible situation, and they were all taking opioids, and they came back here. And once they got back here, most of them, they didn't keep doing it. They didn't keep abusing drugs because they had some hope. They had something to look forward to in life. And
okay,
unfortunately,
I'm going to connect the 2 dots here.
Yeah,
I got it. So we got to legalize prostitution because people are not having enough sex.
That actually could be a part of it.
Yeah.
But why aren't people having sex? Is it because they're all on Facebook? I mean, what?
Probably. I mean, they say, who knows all these facts that are cited in different studies with data. They say that like younger people are having less and less sex, which doesn't make any sense at all because it's never been easier for younger people to have sex. They're just swiping left or right on a phone. I mean, it's
emotionally so damaged these days, right? Yeah. And like the whole incel movement is frightening as a human species. I mean, what's wrong with these people? That
wait a second. See, this is how I'm probably, what is this movement? What?
The incels, involuntarily celibate, is where the name comes from.
Oh God! All right, hold on. Let me take another drink.
Me too.
Like how? I just don't know how big of a movement it actually that is. And it's like,
I want to say I would agree with you because I normally don't take this stuff very seriously.
I can't take this seriously.
Even if somebody doesn't label themselves as an incel, I've seen the behaviors trickle into a lot of the groups that I'm in.
Interesting.
Really?
Yeah, it's a lot of woman hating, and I'm not a feminist. It's not my thing. But it's kind of like old school values, like women are all fucked up and they just want an old fashioned girl to be with, and these women are evil and that's why they won't have sex with them. And so it's like it's a beta thing, like a beta male group.
Well, doesn't the root of it, like, or I don't know where it started, but you know, some of these school shooters have said that they're incels, right? Isn't that where this is picked up?
Frustrated, angry. Yeah. I think it's issues with their parents, and I think it's issues with self-esteem. And I honestly think that our young men are completely emasculated in really bad ways, and I don't think that they have healthy outlets for being males. I just don't. I think that our society either, they fake the machismo stuff. I don't think that these kids all have dads that are in the picture. And I mean, I'm kind of old school like that. I think that kids need moms and dads and it's good for them. I'm not saying that you always get that, but it's obviously better for them to have healthy male role models and healthy female role models in my opinion, but
1-800-BIG-BROTHER. Sorry, not joke. But in all seriousness, no, I hear what you're saying, and all the more reason why, prostitution should be legal.
I think so too. Yeah, these guys need to have some confidence.
That's going to be Jay's point on every single thing.
Every single thing. And to note, just in case anybody knew, I am a married man. I've been happily married for 10 years.
10 years. Wow.
Yeah, almost 10 years.
That's awesome.
So
I'm at 6 years, right? Yeah.
6.
I believe 6.
I'm at 11 years, and I've been with this mother effer for about almost 18 years in August.
Oh, damn.
Wow. That's awesome. Yep. Congratulations, you both.
Yeah. See? It's doable.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely doable.
Yeah. John, but to your point, so your article you sent and on NPR, so federal judge orders release of data set showing drug industry's role in opioid crisis. Shocker.
This article just pissed me off, the whole thing. Were you angry?
So let me ask you, just to tee this up. So we're going to play a little game called Is It a Crime and Should They Do Time?
Is it a crime? Should they do time? Or do you think they learned their lesson from a hefty fine? Is it a crime? Should they do time? And since we have to ask the question, is the system down or out of line?
And the way I want to frame this here is, in the current situation that happened, where drug companies really did, I think really push out drugs onto people. Now, there's other factors at play, of course. You have, of course, the black market restrictions. There's not other medicines they can get. But should they be held culpable? Should they be prosecuted for their role in this? If it can be, you don't just want to see that they just fine the company and basically what happens with in
Yeah.
the banking crisis. But
Right.
should individuals be called out here if there was a role that, maybe fraud, there was some sort of fraud portrayed in the study to show that it wasn't addictive or something like that?
Go ahead. You go first because I have opinions.
You have opinions. You know what they say? Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one.
I got one.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, in a utopian world, I'd love to see these cocksuckers do a time in a private court and they go to jail and serve a life sentence. But we all know that's what's not going to happen, right? Just like the bank bailouts, right? So they're going to pay a big fine.
Why should they go to jail? Explain. Please.
Yeah. Fuck, you caught me off guard on that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
you got to know why you think stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's right. You're right. Well, I think they should go to jail is because to me, breeds and smells crony capitalism, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they profited off of the rapid growth of a prescription drug they knew very well.
Deliberately deceptive.
Yes. So they were extremely deceptive on a drug they knew very well.
Pay doctors and take them out to fancy places to
Right.
get them to prescribe these pills. And there's bonuses and kickbacks.
Yeah, this
All
is
of
like the
this.
definition of crony capitalism.
This
So
is the
that's
definition
where
of
the crimes
pure
are.
crony
The
capitalism.
Doctors should get held accountable.
Yeah. All of them.
Doctors
Whoever.
prescribing them. Fuck
you
the
can-
doctors, those pieces of shit. Every single one of you motherfuckers out there that's prescribing pills to Nanny over here instead of giving her something else.
Like
Honestly,
marijuana.
okay. That again, like we professed in the beginning, but
Well, just
yes,
to play devil's advocate here.
people need their pills, and if they
Oh.
want to buy them, they should fucking be able to. Why is the company held responsible for that? No,
Mm.
government.
Fans,
Fuck
doctors,
the
yeah.
state.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, you have the FDA that is giving them this monopoly.
Yep.
So yeah. So Granny does come in. Granny has terrible back pain. Granny can't get her hands on any marijuana or can't get her hands on some sort of other
And doesn't
illegal.
know about kratom, and they're being warned about it by the FDA. Mhm.
Right.
Right.
Right. So that's what she's left with. So she should. I mean, there's the argument that to say, oh, the doctors, it's their fault, which I agree with you, but at the same time, Granny needs to be able to sleep at night, right? I mean.
Mm.
This is what happens. They give prescriptions to people
Right.
when they don't need them. Like, just give them to them. I know because
Yeah.
I have 5 kids, guys. Okay,
Huh.
and doctors were just giving me bottles of Vicodin and Percocet
Oh yeah.
that are
Oh, yeah.
still in my fucking cabinet in the bathroom from
Mhm.
15 years ago. So,
Don't flush them down the toilet. The alligators will get them.
The meth alligators will get them.
I'm saving them for the end times, guys. Duh, that's bartering stuff. I know what I'm
There
doing.
you go.
Agorism. so no, really, people should be able to cure their pain on their own any way they want. The problem is everyone's looking to blame somebody instead of personal responsibility, which is learning about the medicines, finding out the information. The companies are breaking rules. The
Yeah.
doctors are breaking rules. They're all in a conspiracy with the government itself. So, and when you look at the FDA, the CDC, and the government, and how it's a revolving door that when they leave their government positions, they get very high paid positions at these pharmaceutical companies. When you learn about that cronyism and the specific incest that goes on there, take them all out. That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
This is this is all fucking bullshit. This entire. Did you see that they won't release the information because of the other government agencies in this article,
Wow.
John?
Yeah.
Right here. Some drug companies fought in court to keep the information secret, arguing that it contains proprietary details about their business practices. There's more. The U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration also resisted releasing the data, arguing that it included sensitive information used by law enforcement.
Yeah. National security secrets, probably. That's fine.
Yeah. A judge didn't want to release it either. So a judge didn't want to name anybody and give any information out also because they're all, government's too big. They have too many entities and they're all protecting each other.
Yeah, and that's exactly what this is. This is local government suing these drug companies. What's going to happen? There's going to be a settlement. They'll
Right.
say, oh, we made a settlement and we paid these local governments and everything's fine now. Nothing to see here. Everyone's been paid off. Who cares about these individuals that have had their lives ruined or they overdosed and they're dead now?
200,000 in the article.
Yeah.
Over 200,000 Americans have died since beginning in the 1990s, it says. Hashtag storm the DEA.
Seriously.
What?
But where is the personal responsibility? Now, we have raised for generations a nation of sheep that believe everything they're told and listen to the authority and kind of go with the flow, right? We know that. And there's a massive problem on every level there. But, I mean, I don't just take pills. I don't take Tylenol because it's been proven in studies to reduce empathy in children. It strips and blocks certain amino acids and can completely not let your body filter out things like vaccines. When you give a child Tylenol, which they used to give them right when they got their vaccine, actually blocks the ability to detox all those harmful ingredients. So these kids are getting extremely injured. Why aren't the parents taught that? Oh, it's just Tylenol. That doesn't do anything. Give them Tylenol. Well, don't give anybody Tylenol. Don't do it. Look into it. Read what you're putting into your body. Where is that personal responsibility?
Oh, take off your tinfoil hat, Raylene. Take off your tinfoil hat.
You know what? You want to talk about the cronyism, and the pharmaceutical companies. If you want to talk about that, they have complete immunity for all vaccines that are put on the childhood schedule since 1986 because Supreme Court ruled vaccines, after reviewing all the evidence and injuries, that they are unavoidably unsafe.
Yes.
And they have an excise tax on every single shot given, no matter where it comes from. Every single shot has a tax put on it that somebody's paying. And then that money is awarded to the victims of injury if they can prove it in vaccine court. That is, there is no risk for these companies. I guarantee, mark my words, in 20 years, you'll go, oh, that Raylene was right. The future of medicine and
We're not going to talk like that in 20 years.
I'm going to be dropping F-bombs and
your
saying.
Your skin does look really good, John. I have to tell you. You're looking good. I think it's your gut flora.
Probably.
I think you look glowing. I just want to say that the future of pharmaceutical companies where there's no risk because there's no way to sue the companies is going to be vaccines. They're going to have a vaccine for everything if they put it on the schedule because there's no way to come back. Okay, that's it.
I agree. No, so 100%. So shout out, coming out soon, episode 35, I believe, on Anarcho Inc. I got Dr. Jennifer Margolis. She wrote The Vaccine Friendly Plan.
Oh, nice.
Great fucking book. Amazing interview. I recommend everybody listen to the interview, check out her book. But she dropped some truth bombs in that episode. A lot of people don't even know this. There is a vaccine court.
Yeah, in 1986 is when they created that, right?
They created this court, right, that you were talking about to protect their asses from anything that goes wrong.
The government.
It's the only industry that has like a separate court. Yeah.
Because they are unavoidably unsafe. And then you hear the rhetoric, vaccines are safe. There's no risk. That's a lie.
Yeah, it's a lie.
Then why did they create this court just to protect the companies?
Yeah. Well, anybody who says vaccines are safe, there's no risk, absolutely, they're a liar. I mean, there could be an argument, and this isn't, not all vaccines are created equally. I think you would agree with that. Some are more dangerous than others.
Right.
But even with the safest vaccines, there could be a reaction. I mean, everybody's body is different.
Noted reaction. Anybody can go to VAERS, VAERS, and go Google the reactions and see what people are getting rewarded money for. Go ahead. Yeah.
I'll do that. I'll do that right after the show. I'm not gonna
do it. You're going to be mad.
So I think we're going to come back to vaccines because I think you have a story about this next thing we're talking about, which is not about vaccines. But I think you said it as there's a vaccine tie-in. So this is another Is It a Crime? So there's an amputee. Amputee finds a picture of himself used as the EU cigarette warning despite losing his limb in an unrelated assault. So this is an Albanian man. Almost said Alabamian, but this Jim Beam is starting to catch up with me a little bit here. So he had his leg amputated for something having nothing to do with cigarettes, but yet it ends up as a warning label on cigarettes in the EU. So my question, the reason I'm asking, is this a crime? Should this guy have some sort of recourse in order for for his picture being used, or is this an illegal act? Is this fraud that they're using this man's picture that has nothing to do with what they're talking about?
Can I ask a question? Mm-hmm. Didn't the EU make memes illegal? And don't they?
Gonna say that.
And don't they also have a law, the right to be forgotten? And if you don't want to be put on the internet, anybody can be forced to take anything they say about you off of the internet.
I think the law is you have to be nice, and we decide what nice is. Otherwise, you're going to jail.
Right to be forgotten.
Yes, no, you're right. GDPR, General Data Protection Act or whatever regulation. And you have the right to request all data to be deleted from whatever company or anywhere.
So then, yes, this is illegal for the EU.
Yes.
And this isn't a company, right? This is the government.
This is the government. Using
Did they just find this guy's on a Google image search? We need to find a picture of somebody without a leg. Let's see what comes up.
And they didn't use the little toggle where you can say search images that are safe for reuse and modification, right?
Yeah. This is at least fraud. It's completely unethical, at least, right? So I was telling you a story when you posted that we might be talking about this. Right. I was like, holy shit. So I'm in a million groups for medical freedom and choice. And I totally believe in body autonomy. I believe that we should all be able to make our own choices. And there's a responsibility in that, knowing what the risks are, obviously. Mm-hmm. So there's a mom, and she was very upset because a picture of her baby who had a vaccine reaction, I believe it was actually to the DTaP, which is diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis. And the baby had these horrible rash, red splotchiness, obviously not measles. And if anybody actually understands diseases and knows anything about them, they would know it wasn't measles. But the media locally was doing a forced vaccine scare. They're trying to push for mandates of taking away exemptions in Washington. They've been working on doing that and forcing children to get these vaccines against their parents' wishes. And they used a picture of the child as a measles warning. Get your vaccines because you're going to get measles. And the parent of a vaccine-injured child, that is the most insulting bullshit ever. Should it be illegal? I don't really like more laws. I don't really want to create more laws, but I think it's completely unethical. And if they misprint something, they should be forced to rectify it and in large print that they lied.
Yeah. Just hang the fuckers.
Unfortunately, because so many people are pro-vaccine and think that anybody who questions the safety of them or learns more about this system as it is, we're labeled as stupid or crazy.
Agreed. And
is it? Sorry, I was going to ask something unrelated. Well, it's related, but this is from Howie Snowden, so I don't know if this is. Just
Howie.
Preface it with that. So, is measles actually good for your heart to get measles? Howie was telling me that it's good for your heart if you have measles.
It actually is. So, my daughter has a heart condition. So, that's how I found the information about vaccines. Is they were forcing vaccines. They make you get vaccines to be on a transplant list, whether you want them or not. You have to if you want to get your child a new organ and everybody in your family. And she wasn't getting better. And I started doing the research and I stopped vaccinating my children, and she immediately got better. Her lungs cleared up and was able to breathe. I mean, I don't want to go into it. I want everyone to do their own research. I really implore them to. But it does, first of all, it gives you lifelong immunity as a child. If your parent had measles, which back in the day, the parents had measles as kids. So my mom had measles as a child, and she was like, oh yeah, my mom said it was no big deal. It was a fever for a couple of days. And, after 5 days, I was totally fine. Right. And she said it was no big deal. And that is the reality. kids do not die of measles unless they are severely sick already and malnutrition. I mean, really, they need vitamin D and vitamin A, and normal vitamins and hygiene, and normal American healthcare would be good enough. Nobody dies from measles usually. And then you have placental immunity that passes on to your children that lasts for about 2 years. So when I was born, I had a natural immunity to measles. That's why babies didn't get measles back in the day. Babies now get measles because their parents they don't have the natural immunity because we had measles shots as kids, right? So now they can get measles from it's a live vaccine. They can get measles from the vaccine. It's more likely that they're going to get measles from a child who was recently vaccinated because it sheds, or from the vaccine itself from themselves because it mutates and then they incubate it and have it, right?
Right.
You probably learned about that on your show, right?
I did, yeah. She didn't go into that much detail, but my wife is the one who is the extremely vaccinated. Yeah, so my wife's the homeschooler and the caretaker for the kids, and read up all about the vaccines, and it's quite amazing. I give her 2 thumbs up and a huge standing ovation. She was in the doctor's office and basically knew more about the vaccines than the damn doctor did, and that was quite alarming. Yeah, to see, like, did you know? And she's like, can I have a copy of the vaccine?
Colored piece of paper printout instead?
Yeah, she had everything, and she even had the vaccine friendly book with her. And it's not to say we're not being anti-vax, or it's not even anti-vax, pro-vax, or whatever. It's the freedom to choose medically, right? That's what we're talking about, really. Yeah,
and informed consent. Informed.
Right.
And the doctors aren't even informed. It's insane.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
go ahead.
We had a similar thing happen. I mean, our daughter is vaccinated, but yeah, just simply asking for more information on it, or, because they come in the room and say, she's getting this vaccine, this vaccine, this vaccine, this vaccine, and it's going to be 3 shots, and they're like, whoa, what is all this stuff? And this was after she'd already had like a reaction to the first one. And so we stopped with the flu vaccine. I mean, there's no reason for anybody to get a flu vaccine.
So my wife asked for a copy of the actual, like, the back and the front of the vaccine.
And it's inside of the manufacturer package. So when they drop off the shots, you can get them, and they will usually fight you and will not give them to you.
Yes.
But it should be about this long.
And on that list, it says you can die from this vaccine pretty much.
Yeah.
Like inside of the prepackaged they get from, like, these large pharmaceutical companies. Like, inside of that, there is a warning that says risk of death or whatever.
And they're giving them to pregnant women, and it says on there, never been tested on pregnant women. Do not take if pregnant.
Yeah.
And they're recommending, and the doctors are pressuring pregnant mothers to get them.
Right. So it's all in the labels. So it's interesting. It's just we've become sheep. This is normal.
A lot of times when women and mothers and fathers go into the doctor and say, can I please have the manufacturer's insert? I'd like to read it. They'll a lot of times say, we don't have them, or we lost them. And sometimes they'll come out with a brightly colored sheet that's actually
from the CDC.
With is all just what they want you to see, but not you have to actually say, no, I want the manufacturer's insert, because they don't want you to look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I did not know that. I learned something new today. Yeah. That's not the only thing. I learned other new things. But
I learned something new today, too, about a new cult group, I guess, whatever it's called.
I don't know how you didn't hear about that. The
incels. Yeah. I've heard about the non-binaries, but yeah.
Oh, no, this is nuts. Please look into it for funsies, okay?
Yeah, it's a funsy, non-cells. Well, yeah. Well, I was getting ready to storm Area 51, so I've been busy preparing for that.
Don't mind me. I'm enjoying all of this awesome meme-dom right now.
I forget where we were talking about. This might have been on one of our bonus episodes, the Degenerate Gamblers, but yeah, I think it was. Somebody was saying that if 1 million people stormed Area 51, they thought that's like the right number. You could definitely take over. Honestly, I think it's going to end terribly, because all it takes is like they throw a couple, gas bombs out there, disorient people. You get people running in the opposite. It'd be a stampede. People be getting trampled. It could be horrible.
I
Do you think it's real? Like, is it really going to happen?
I don't know.
I want to see some aliens.
Okay.
There's going to be somebody that's going to go. I mean,
I just want to see anybody that goes. I just want aerial footage of whoever it is. I'm hoping it looks like Joe Dirt. I want to know. Actually, more power to anybody who decides to do it. I kind of have a total hard-on for rebels that do crazy things. I do. More power to them. I just don't. I don't want people to die. And the fact that the FBI is like doing training against the Naruto run is just the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. So I can't. I think there's a point in my anarchism where I just laugh, react to all life. I'm just laughing and enjoying the boogaloo. I don't know what else to say.
I think we're all there. Yeah, I would agree. This is the time. These times are interesting to say the least. But if you imagine if 1 million people didn't pay their taxes.
That's like, what if we use this like for something that really mattered? Not that aliens don't matter.
Aliens are great. Yeah.
But what if, like, when is it, like September? What day are they going to storm it? September 14th or something like that. Maybe it's the 12th.
Oh shit! I still got time.
What if Trump tweets out, "Let him in"? Like,
oh my god,
that shit's hot. Like, please let that happen. I love it when Trump surprises me. I'm not a Trump fan. You guys know this. Obviously, none of us are Trump fans, but sometimes he just fucking cracks me up. Like. I guess he's shit, but they're all shit, right?
Okay.
Can we just laugh?
Yeah. So if we're going to have a president that is going to, no president in this current structure is going to be good for liberty. I mean, there might be some minor things here and there. Most of the time, it's just, we're just getting worse and worse and worse, and we're getting our rights trampled on.
Right.
At least entertain us. I mean, a little bit of entertainment. I'll take it. I mean...
Did you see that Bette Midler is like begging Twitter's owner to get rid of Trump's account? Now, Trump just was forced to not be able to block anybody. Because, did you hear about this?
Yeah, I have seen that, yeah.
First of all, that's also stupid. I've never heard anything like that. That's a freaking personal social media account, but okay. So he's not legally allowed to block anybody, whatever. And then... but I'm just here for the show. And now she wants him. She's just a stupid celebrity, but she wants to get him blocked off of Twitter. People are on Twitter for Trump. I mean, I'm on Twitter for Trump. I want to see what's getting said. And he fleshes out a lot more information, a lot more that makes him look racist, a lot more that shows his 40 chess. I feel like it really gives a lot more nuance to the conversation. Twitter's necessary. Keep him on Twitter.
Well, I guarantee you every president going forward is going to be using Twitter, at least in a similar way. I mean, they're not going to be saying as ridiculous things probably, but he set up a meeting with Kim Jong-un via Twitter.
That's awesome, man. It doesn't get any better than that.
Where are we?
The date? So apparently the original event looks like it's been taken down because I don't see the list of 7,000 subscribers. The only one I could find is September 4th at 1 p.m. But it was sometime September, and now it's just there's all this different events and groups, and it's it looks like
I can guarantee you that all those groups are crawling with CIA agents.
Oh my God,
yeah. Well, when I found out that the NSA is in like World of Warcraft and like Xbox Live, and they're playing games on there and like listening to see if anyone's planning anything. Like,
Jesus.
People are paid to play video games. This is your government. Are we going to talk about meth gators soon?
Yeah, let's talk about them now. So yeah, I put in.
It fits in with the aliens.
So I put this in as sort of a joke, but it's just great. It's great content. Bro. So for like a couple things on this. So this is in Tennessee, and I don't think there are alligators in Tennessee. I'm pretty sure there aren't. So the first time I read it, that didn't really.
I didn't know. I was like, well, I don't know.
Could be.
Nobody really questioned that part of it, but yeah, apparently it came out. It came out this week that this Tennessee police chief made it up that alligators were, getting addicted to meth, which I don't know. I actually believed it. I thought it was possible. Why not?
You did not stop it.
Come on.
You're a liar.
I mean, if we can storm Area 51, why can't the alligators get addicted to meth?
Exactly. But so it should. I put this in. Is it a crime?
They give IQ tests to cops because we know how that works. That they don't let high IQ people become cops. I was like, this is obvious.
Yeah.
Like that was what I thought of.
Was this like a test? Was this guy testing the media? Was he's like, will they print this? Let's see if.
I think he was trying to create his own Area 51.
I think he was trying to create T-shirt sales, which they made most of this article is actually about the T-shirt.
Oh.
So I really believe it was meant to get media attention and to turn it into a nonprofit charity sale for themselves. But also, they don't want, when they knock on the door, they don't want people flushing the drugs down the toilet. Okay? They want to catch them with the drugs. Oh, people worry more about animals than they do people these days. I mean, that is real.
Yeah. You don't want to get the alligators high on meth.
Don't get the alligators high on meth.
Right.
And not only that, but anybody who's doing meth or on SSRIs or birth control or any other fucking drug and we're talking about not septics, but we're talking about like water systems. All that shit stays in the water.
Yeah.
I live in the Puget Sound in the Pacific Northwest in Washington, and they test the tide pools, and it's full of cocaine and antidepressants and birth control pills, and it's just cycled through the water, and they can't get it out. So I don't know if
drinking that.
And
they
put a steel company byproduct in there that is labeled a neurotoxin that you cannot dump, but they can sell it to water companies and put it directly in. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do not.
Fluoride. Fluoride is illegal to dump according to the EPA because it is a neurotoxin and extremely unhealthy. It increases toxin absorption into your body. It is super bad for you. It was technology developed by, I'm not saying that naturally occurring fluoride is the same, but it is a byproduct from companies, and they cannot offload it according to the EPA. So they started selling it to water companies, and they put it in the water supply, and it does pacify people, and was used by the Nazis to do that with their own population.
Man.
And anytime the government says this stuff is so good, we need to just put it in the water.
Forcibly medicating
be very
entire
careful.
Communities without choice is fucking filthy. And again, medical freedom. So this is one of my passions. I just am disgusted by forced medication without understanding what exactly is happening.
This is why I live in the boonies and I have well water that I get to
me too, bro.
Treat myself the way I want to treat it, naturally, with charcoal filters. And yeah,
don't you struggle with, like, what is it, hard or soft water? Then you can't get the soap off, and I'll take a little fluoride so I can get a shower that the soap just comes off.
Stop it. Your body absorbs fluoride through your skin also. So I want you to know you shouldn't be drinking it, and you should not be putting it on your skin.
I'm gonna have to start showering with bottled water now. That's gonna be so
bottled
expensive.
water has fluoride, and they do not put it on the labels. So you have to actually Google which waters do not put fluoride on it, because they secretly put it on it and do not label it. Look into that.
John, this is just going to help you Naruto run
well water
through the alien.
John, I'm ruining your life right now. I'm sorry, but if you want to know anything, please talk to me about it. I will. People are going to call me crazy. This is real shit. Okay, it's real shit.
All right, we're selling the house. Get in a row.
Get Berkey water filter. It has a fluoride filter on it, and it'll take all the fluoride out of it. It's in all the bad stuff. It's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Today's Felony Friday is brought to you by Berkey Water Filters.
Ooh, that was nice.
Yeah.
I need a marketing. Yeah, what else we got? What's next?
So we got the first two things we were going to talk about, I skipped right over. Of course, this is we have a Republican president, so all the conservatives are asleep, and we're getting gun regulation, and they changed gun measuring standards, how they're reclassifying popular guns that have a stabilizing brace.
So
and
if
a vertical
7
foregrip.
inches, it's too big, and 6 inches is too small, right?
What is the argument?
Right.
Like, I don't actually understand. So because I'm so pro-gun, I don't understand what the argument against them and their side.
I don't either. Like, I don't understand any of these gun control arguments. I don't understand the restrictions on magazine size. It's like, don't you understand? People can just get a second magazine, and you just. I mean, it's not hard to change a magazine.
Yeah, have you guys seen a movie?
John Wick.
Oh my God, John Wick is so fun.
So I quickly read through it. It's about the length of a barrel, essentially. So stabilizing the brace once measured more than 26 inches overall length and exempting that, supposedly. I don't fucking know. I live in New Hampshire, so we can really buy whatever kind of fucking guns we want.
Hot.
Yeah. They literally had like one of those guns that you strap to a tank at the gun store I go to for like $26,000. You could buy it, you know. It's just like, so yeah, come to New Hampshire. You don't have to worry about this shit.
Is New Hampshire actually that great? Because put your plug in, because I think about it.
Yeah,
it's pretty cold.
It's cold. If you don't like the cold, it gets cold. But in terms of financial, we have not a lot of taxes. Mm-hmm. There's no corporate gains tax. There's no income tax. There's no sales tax.
There's no income tax, state income tax. I didn't know that.
There's no state income tax. Yeah.
Washington, they're trying to put an income tax in. We don't have one. We have a sales tax, but we don't have sales tax on food.
No corporate gains tax. So if you invest in Bitcoin, so if you put $3,000 in Bitcoin and then it jumps to $20,000, you don't get taxed on that. $20,000 or whatever. So there's no corporate gains tax or whatever. Like for instance, to start the coffee business, I had to like look up retail license, and it's like, don't need a license to be a retailer. So that was fucking awesome.
No shit.
Wow.
So here's the first problem I ran into though, so far in New Hampshire, is farmer's market. I had to get insurance. I had to get business insurance to be at the farmer's market. So that was kind of shitty. Yeah.
Are you allowed to sell things from your own property?
Yes. Yeah, I could sell directly off my property like a yard sale, but to attend the farmer's market, I had to get business insurance. But I kind of respect that because we're using somebody else's private property. And so like if I do damage or whatever, so kind of respect that. And I think it's important, so it's all private insurance, and and the farmer's market is actually privately held by a local farm. So I had to get business insurance.
You probably would have gotten it anyway.
I would have. I was looking at it.
When you reached a certain scale, at least. But but
and it was cheap enough. I think I ended up paying. It's costing me like $60 a month for the insurance, so not terrible.
It's kind of a lot.
Yeah, it is a little bit, but for now, I can
honestly, it's much better than it would be in other states, and that's the truth.
Probably.
Yeah, it's a business insurance, so like it protects me against lawsuits, or if I damage anything, if I'm at another vendor's thing, or somebody wants to sue me because the coffee's too fucking hot or whatever. So it's like something stupid like that, but whatever. That's the first thing I ran into so far trying to run my business here.
Okay, so for listeners, this says any gun equipped with a vertical grip and stabilizing brace is now considered any other weapon, a category of weapon that is supposed to encompass all weapons that can't be classified as rifles, shotguns, or handguns.
I think they're trying to stop the AR-15 because the picture they show in their tweet is the AR-15, it looks like, and yeah.
I can't get the article to open again for me, so I'll just go with what you guys say. You're just doing the show for me. But yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. It's it's just like the bump stocks. This is just like the bump stocks regulations. We still have bump stocks here in New Hampshire.
Well, it's so crazy. I mean, because with Barack Obama as president, who really was a good president for gun rights. He would make these threats, and everybody would go buy guns. He was great for the gun companies; they loved him because he'll make these threats, and then nothing would happen.
Right?
Trump just these things just keep sneaking through. You get these little things, and I mean, the bump stocks are so ridiculous. I mean, the reason for a bump stock is if you're disabled, you're still able to use the firearm. You're still able to fire it. So basically, you're taking away a Second Amendment right from a disabled person.
Nice.
essentially.
And
Wow,
what if
that's a
that
really good
person
way to
wants-
put that, John. That's really, really well thought out. Thank you for that, because I'm gonna steal that and put it in my pocket, because
There you
that's
go.
a really, really good way of putting that, and that's fucking bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
It is.
And what if that disabled person wants to storm Area 51 with their bump stock
You know what? They should be able to. They've been waiting their whole lives.
for this
Sure of
one
it.
moment? That's right.
The
Oh my
aliens
God,
might
Mom
have the
Spaghetti
technology
up
they
in
need.
here.
Yeah, the alcohol's kicking in for sure.
So, last article before we go here, and I to be perfectly honest, I've been very pleasantly surprised with Donald Trump's administration and the First Step Act for criminal justice reform. Obviously, does not go nearly as far as I would want it to go. I'd love to see all drugs legalized. I'd love to see all nonviolent offenders released. That hasn't happened, but I think we've seen a better, more positive change for the criminal justice system under Trump than we saw under Obama. And we haven't even gotten to Trump's likely second term, which if he does get a second term, normally presidents do most of their commutations and pardons and all that stuff in their second term. It's very rare to have this much criminal justice reform in a president's first term. So, I mean, just in general, did you guys see this coming at all? Did you think that this would happen?
I love that Trump surprises me. I hate his bullshit, like his tariffs and his just him. But he does good stuff like this. Like he'll just randomly do something. I'm like, yes, right? Like, right. But there's some issues with it. It feels like it's not concrete enough, right? So I was reading this, and they're talking about not giving any details, and they're creating an entire new government entity that will be overseeing things. I mean, have you looked at all the details?
Well, it
of
does.
that?
Like with regards to the reintegration, that part of it, I don't like that. When you get into
Sounds like a moneymaker, and I think they're going to exploit the fuck out of this wonderful idea.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. What I'd like to see more of, and I've had guests on in the past who are doing things like this, a lot of them who actually have a criminal record, so they actually know what they're doing, they know what people struggle with. It needs to be addressed from the private sector. And that's the bad part of the First Step Act, is a lot of this money is just going to be recycled into the government.
And they're talking about getting more money, right?
It's going to be a lot of cronyism.
They're diverting $75 million from within the Bureau of Prisons budget, which was used for care, programming, and administrative tasks. In order to put in place the First Step Act, officials would not provide more specific information, and it wasn't immediately clear whether that would cause any disruption to other federal prison programs. Federal officials say they were working with Congress to ensure additional funding for the coming years. This entire thing feels like an exploitation of an honest issue that people are trying to solve. And I think they're going to fuck it up. But I'm glad that they're letting people out of prison.
Freeross.org.
Yeah, absolutely.
Am I a Debbie Downer? Am I ruining your life, John?
No.
Okay.
I think, I think anytime, so this is what we have happening here is we have Republicans and Democrats and Libertarians and Independents, and everyone's agreeing on this. So you don't get everyone agreeing unless someone's getting a kickback normally, because Republicans and Democrats don't have principles. They want people in their constituency or their donors who need to get paid, so there's always going to be that's what's wrong with the system we have. There's always going to be something like this.
We're like, make a new government agency. Woo!
Exactly.
Right. I was reading the article and I was like, to the title. And then I kept reading and I was like, fuck you. Because I know Johnny always talks about how nice I am, but I'm a total asshole, obviously. Okay. I'm not nice. So look at me. I'm a meanie. And I'm a Debbie Downer. So my cat has cancer.
Hopefully that's not true. I'm laughing at your cat having cancer.
It's okay, Raylene. I'm a neckbeard chill. So
Oh my God, that's funny. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I really like that people are talking about it and they care about it. But again, I don't like that the government is in on it. I want someone just to free these motherfuckers and keep the government locked up themselves. They ruin everything that's good. Yeah.
Thoughts, Jay? Anything?
Yeah, no, I mean, again, Raylene has hit the nail on the fucking head again. It's great to set these guys free, right? The fact that there's government involved again sucks. And to your point earlier, if Trump's going to do anything in a second term, I'd love to see him pardon Ross Ulbricht, just like Obama did.
Albright.
Albright. Yeah, sorry. Albright. Yeah.
For the listeners.
Ulbricht, not Albright. Ulbricht.
Is it Albricht?
It's Albright.
Albright.
That's how I voice.
I thought you said Allberg, and I was like, no.
I think we said like 4 different things. The boos are kicking in.
Just go to freeross.org.
Ross Ulbricht is serving a double life sentence without parole for all nonviolent charges for creating a website. Please help free this peaceful man. Go to freeross.org and sign and share the petition.
There should be a lot of pardons.
A lot of pardons, just like Obama did with Chelsea Manning, although she is now back in jail, I believe. Yep. What the fuck? So, yeah.
And Assange?
Assange is in jail. Yeah, that was a shitty week for liberty. I mean,
and very sick.
And then the Seastead got taken down. So, yeah, that was a shitty week for liberty.
Those people got away, right? The 2 Seasteaders.
They got away, as from the last story I've heard. They're on the run. So. But yeah, that sucked too.
Wait, 2 people on the run. Are we talking about
the Seasteaders?
Oh, okay.
No, not McAfee. The 2 Bitcoin millionaires. Yeah.
Do you see that McAfee's on the run with his wife?
Oh, well, what else is new? When is he not
He's
on
like,
the run?
The CIA tried to apprehend me, but they didn't get me. We're out to sea again. Fucking pictures on social media of them with their fucking guns.
Shotguns.
I'm like, can I just say that he is an amazing train wreck, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Like,
have you seen his documentary on Netflix?
No, he was talking shit about it. The one that said he was a murderer.
Yeah, it says he's a murderer and
a moiterer. Do you believe him?
I don't know what I believe.
So it's like when he first came back to the U.S., he was a little bit more coherent. And the first time he appeared on Lions of Liberty with Mark.
Oh my God, he was on Lions of Liberty? Holy shit.
He's been on 2 or 3 times. And he was like very with it. He was very, he made sense. And when he told the story, when he talked about the murder, it was like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. But the past couple years here, it's not really helping his case.
He's going to eat his own dick.
Well, that's just hilarious.
Well, I love him.
Yeah, so there's a documentary on Netflix. Again, there's 2 sides to every story, right? And so I just figured, since we're talking about it,
and Belize is a fucking crazy place. So
I believe it.
Who knows?
Yeah. Well, he denies it. That's all I know. Like, he was blasting this like a couple years ago about how that documentary is being made and that they were lying about it, and he was very upset about it. I just love him. I love how he talks about his wife. And
his wife tried to kill him. That's not funny, but remember that story? His wife literally tried to poison him, and then he was like, "Well, she tried to poison me." And he's like, "Most people would think that I would divorce her, but people make mistakes." So
yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's fucking amazing. I can't help it.
He's like, she apologized. It's okay.
I love him like I love Shia LaBeouf, who's another beautiful train wreck, and I feel him. I like go Shia.
I have a new podcast for you, Raylene. Raylene in the train wrecks.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to be on it?
Yeah.
Do you want to come on my podcast?
I don't know if I'm a train wreck enough for you.
We could just talk about other train wrecks. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
I just can't. I'm fascinated by I'm like a social autist. right?
Oh yeah. You're drawn to the socially awkward and the socially for sure.
You see it, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm into that. Yeah, I hear you. I love. Actually, I'm reading right now, The Pale Blue Horse. It's conspiracy. William Cooper.
Right.
Yeah. I'm in. I hear you. I'm into that. Some of that shit. And there's another another podcast I listen to, Darknet Diaries, talking about like the dark net.
We never. That's what it was. We never finished talking about the dark web. We talked about the drinks. We never came back to
what you guys think about the dark web. And I'm not asking anybody to reveal anything about anything or about the legality of it. Yeah. But the dark web is fucking amazing. I'm not saying everything on the dark web is amazing. The fact that it exists is amazing. And we talk about agorism, and I think that is a beautiful place to start.
Yeah. Well, the dark web is interesting in itself. I mean, we call it the dark web, and it's really just the web in general, right? There is no special place. These are just URLs you go to that you can. And people usually talk about Tor when they talk about the dark web, right? Because there are these special URLs that you can go to with Tor. Mm-hmm. But what a lot of people don't know is the Tor was funded by like the Naval Center of Intelligence and the CIA. So the Tor was, again, invented by the government. So how much I trust Tor browser, I don't know. But in terms of the dark web and agorism, there are interesting things like Silk Road. There's a advertiser that advertises on my show called agorisnexus.com, where they have these businesses that you can list that are all about agorist businesses or agorist related businesses. Beautiful. And I've had a few other businesses on, like Gray Man Design.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And it's interesting, but the thing with agorism is a lot of these people enjoy their privacy, so they're very hard to contact.
Right.
So it makes it harder to do business, of course.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of important in business, being able to, that transparency, that trust factor.
Yeah, but they have really stellar reviews that can't be controlled.
That helps.
So, not that I know this, and I've never done it myself. So,
read about it in a book or something.
Yeah, you've read about this in a book.
I met a guy. I was homeless on a train. I'm just wondering. It's kind of like Amazon and a lot of these like marketplaces. Yeah, and they have so many reviews, and they have people posting pictures of what they purchased and what they got, and not everything there is fucking buying Taiwanese children. Okay, like you hear about. I believe that exists because people are fucking disgusting. I mean, our own government is behind this giant sex ring. I mean, hashtag, I don't know, Illuminati or something. But they it's for the kids. I just but you go on the dark web, and it's like a regular forum where people can buy pot seeds to be able to grow weed for their grandma who has cancer and they need her to eat so she's not wasting. They have these homegrown mushrooms, and they have tests to make sure that they don't have mold on them, and they do these third-party testing for whatever they're selling molecularly, and it could be anything. It doesn't have to be drugs. It doesn't have to be things that are legal. Anything can be sold there. It could be fucking produce, like you were talking about.
Yeah, well, that's like Silk Road. I mean, that was a misconception that there were children being sold and there were hits being put out. That stuff, maybe it was on there for a little bit, but those people were booted off.
That's right.
That wasn't tolerated in that environment. So
what? I mean, really, I know of some sites that are kind of popular, like Open Bazaar, and I've heard of Library, LBRY, or something where it's like digital goods, and so they're and some of these are like actual pieces. It's almost like the old school version of, I don't know if people remember this, but like LimeWire or Napstar.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So you have to download these physical applications to get to the website or access the data.
Okay.
One of them's like Open Bazaar. You can sell things on Open Bazaar.
Right.
And like really I'm saying, it's not all drugs, and there are like, produce that you can buy,
I think it is fucking beautiful. And if people are protecting themselves, and I firmly believe that all the information's out there. Everybody can go out there and learn right now how to lock down their computers, their internet, what they're doing, what people can see, what leaves their home. Everybody should be doing learning beginners coding and internet security. I know you agree with me. And
Hashtag learn to code.
And we're doing MathBot with our kids right now, and they are fucking loving it. Right?
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. It is amazing, and I want them to have all the options.
Hopefully you use the Lions of Liberty promo code. I forget what it was, but I think there was one.
Oh, we got it for free.
I think, is it free for everybody? Why did we advertise for it? I forget how we got money off that. But
I don't know, but I love it. I think MathBot is amazing, and I think that is at least a tool for the future, even if it's not what we think it's going to be. That's as a basic knowledge that people should know. When my husband started learning, he goes, I already think like this. I've known how to do this my entire life. He's 40 years old, and he's like, oh shit, I already know how to do all these things.
Right.
nice.
Like his the way he thinks is a fucking flow chart. So he just gets it.
Right.
But I have a daughter that's 10 who is special needs, and she's like gets to level 64 with no problems. I mean,
Wow.
it's amazing. I have a 6-year-old and I have a 4-year-old who are doing it and not having any problems. They're doing just great on their own. But unschooling is the best, guys. So the biggest problem, anybody out there who Google unschooling, it's like homeschooling, but it's child-led. So where their interests are.
Self-directed. Yep.
Absolutely. Because people only learn what they want to.
Yep.
People only learn what they need to and want to. And children are fucking brilliant geniuses. Let them go. My son taught himself to read with no pressure, no work. I'm not kidding. I'm not a lazy mom. I just strew and I bring things around him and I talk to him and we look up anything he wants to learn. We do. And this kid he's 6 years old and he learned to read all by himself because he wanted to, because all of a sudden it was valuable to him. There were things he wanted to learn and he had to do it by reading. Kids are brilliant. Let them do it. Look up unschooling, everybody.
That's awesome. So we went way over time, but I'm glad we did because this was an awesome show. Before I let you guys go, I want you to plug everything that you plug everywhere you go. So we'll start with Jay. Plug your 10 different things.
Only 3. So anarchoinc.com, that's the podcast where you can find other like-minded libertarian entrepreneurs, anarchists. And then anarchocoffee.com, and of course lionsofliberty.com/coffee, where you can get the morning roar, and anarchocbd.com, where you can get organically farmed American grown CBD products. And that's everything I'm doing.
All right, Raylene.
So far, go ahead and listen to our blast off with Johnny Rocket and me, and you can go to supportblastoff.com and check it out there. You can find us for the first few episodes so far on YouTube. It's kind of my husband putting them on there when he feels like it. I'm at Raylene Liberty on Twitter and Raylene Lightheart on Facebook. Go ahead and find me.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. This was a freaking blast today. Hopefully our listeners enjoyed it. I know they did. And that's a wrap, guys. This is John Odermatt signing off with Raylene and Jay. Always remember to keep your head up and the fires of liberty burning.